This reverse was that goalless stalemate, but all 19 games that came prior had goals, and often many. And that's what the tens of thousands attending tonight are anticipating as we get up and running at Loftus Versfeld. Mamelodi Sundowns looking to re-establish their 5 points cushion at the top of the standings, but its Chiefs have made the strong start here, looking for something down that right-hand flank.
If you got Lilepo on your side, you're going to feed him with so much movement going forward.
Now it's Tashrik Matthews flying forward. Tembazwane looking for the return. And Brandon Pearson pushes it clear. They look destined to go out, but Kaizer Chiefs have at least initially appeared to keep it in.
Collision between Lyon and Maboy in that middle of the park. It seems to have had the worst of it. That's the type of battle that is going to be in that middle of the park. And mention Maboy and Glovo being the two defensive midfielders, but what they have about them is the ability to release themselves and provide a bit of support with the attacking players. But they've got to stay very disciplined today.
Now Miguel Cardoso, he'll turn 54 at the end of this month. They actually just recently won Manager of the Month again for April, so that's 3 awards in succession: the January-February awards, the March Coach of the Month, and now April Coach of the Month for Miguel Cardoso, whilst the player awards keep going to Orlando Pirates personnel, especially Ndlo, trying to find a route out of that sticky situation. Of Allende, and that will surely be a free kick, and is with Lilepo going down. He wants the yellow card to be shown.
You can expect this type of a start into the game. Yes, definitely, without a doubt. If you have a look at this, he deserves a booking. He's Allende, and for me, I'm talking about the congestion in that middle of the park. And Sundowns would like to apply the high press, which is their type of game. They can't allow you to come out. So Chiefs have got to be very wary of the high press and make sure that they've got enough cover remaining from behind.
And any loose touch at the back will be punished, as given him Simango almost found out there. And he's gone bursting forward to try and make that challenge. Left a little bit of a gap, but there is sufficient cover in the form of Munyane. It's now with Mabwe, former Sundowns man, and lifted in where Ada McCarthy repels it. Jaden Adams has worked it out to Tembazwane, looking for an option here. Almost able to locate Sayende on the edge of the area. Kuliso Madao, the pressure unrelenting. Lovely touch from Ayende. Mudao did come on late against Bulawani City over the weekend. Stabelo Moreno was moved a little further upfield, and now Kuliso Madao has flung his arm across the face of Bradley Cross and gets the booking as a result.
Without doubt, that lens flat into his face. This is a difficult one for me, because players in those type of positions, they always fling their hands in protection from the opposition, but the only problem is when that hand falls into the face. That changes the ball game altogether. And you can't say deliberately. He's not even looking. He's got a hand just to feel the player behind him.
Mudao trying to look for Leon, and well intercepted by Ada McCarthy, who's coming up against Mamelodi Sundowns for the very first time in his professional career. It was an entirely different centre-half combination when they met back in August, that of Miguel and Quinica.
Chiefs applying a press of their own, forcing Mamelodi Sundowns to play it back.
Damane has brilliantly found Matthews. He's upended. And now all the Sundowns players rushing over to the referee, and looked as though they were about to mob Mabwe himself. It's given him Simango, rather, who's come in with the challenge.
There was nothing with the first tackle, but there was a bit of a follow-up with his left foot that caught Matthews.
This is the 10th time that given him Simango facing Mamelodi Sundowns in the league. Several of those games over at Highlands Park, and TS Galaxy suffered 8 losses, and just the solitary win that was at the very beginning of the 2022-23 season, and Siad Zramovic, that 1-0 victory that they managed. He was very, very steady at the back in his centre-half role on that particular day.
Rare moment that Damane sprays the ball to the outside, but once again, when there's that much tension and pressure, sometimes the calmness that you normally see from the defensive unit of Sundowns can be rocked up a bit.
Shabalala, a little touch with the header, and he tried to get in behind, but the return pass was not forthcoming. This is Kiara making appearance number 30 in all competitions this evening. Damane.
The one combination that I'm worried about is that of Madiba and Leon.
Now Adams poking it through to Allende. Well, he knew that Mudau was hugging the flank on the right and trying to work it to him, but his pass intercepted now. Kaizer Chiefs with an opportunity on the right-hand flank, cheaply given away. Leave it to Allende. Stephen Mokoena, man of the match against Mamelodi City last time out.
Yeah, Liverpool is saying basically, he cut that ball across to around the 18-yard line. He expected Silva to run a little bit forward, and he didn't. He had the moment to be able to ask of Silva.
Brandon Peterson. And he's launched it long. The flag raised against Dushabalala. Has scored previously against Mamelodi Sundowns, but it was on a night that he and Chiefs fans would want to regret, that 5-1 defeat that they suffered last season, the season prior rather. Scored from the penalty spot. It was the first time they'd ever conceded 5 goals in a league match in the PSL era. McCarthy under it, and coming across Simango now. Pulemori, 2 goals in all competitions this season, but his most recent was such a crucial one, the opener in the Soweto derby. Well, Khalid Ben Youssef and Cedric Kaze were the assistant coaches to Nasruddin Nabi when these two sides met in August. Nabi would depart shortly afterwards. Mabwe's touch takes him a little closer to goal, but showed too much of the ball to the opposition. Here's Allende now. Damane. He's neither been on the winning or losing end against Chiefs previously. Has touched with Matthews' flag for offside. Damane played against Chiefs 3 times. Whilst at TS Galaxy, 3 draws.
Had he bent his run a little bit, he might have been onside. But I think he took the turn a little bit early. But the pass was spot on.
Well, as we scrutinise that offside, might have given many at home an opportunity to just look at the cuts of the grass and some slightly darker patches, although the health of the pitch is not in question, as Allende tries to work it to Brian Leon. And Mamelodi Sundowns, well, the stakeholders at Loftus, shall we say, recently reseeded this pitch about a month and a half ago. 800 kilograms of seeds, rye grass, winter grass. A lot of that to kind of strengthen the pitch for these coming winter months. It's at 25 millimeters height tonight, and they are aiming to have it in its perfect condition for the first leg of the CAF Champions League final, where Miguel Cardoso and his staff have mandated that it be at 22 mils for that game.
Lots of planning, way ahead of time.
Yeah,
that is very professional.
Obviously this is a hybrid pitch, so there's also fiber in the mix. That is at a standard height of 19 mils, and the grass grows just slightly above it and almost intertwines in it. It is the norm for top standard international pitches these days.
I'm glad that the standard has been kept from that point of view, because even during Peter Mosmani's tenure at Sundowns, he was always concerned about just the height of the grass and all that.
Now Tashik Matthews has got the pace, and he's giving him some angle slips. Matthews looking for an option. Peterson keeps it out.
Quality. Top quality. Matthews, yeah. Okay. Msmango sleeps eventually, initially, but you think at this time Matthews is going to cross it, but he still has time. That's quality goalkeeping. Kept that angle tight. But that is Mamelodi Sundowns. When they get going in that fashion, they're difficult to stop.
Still without a goal this season in all competitions. Modiba, this is 39th appearance. Has a whole host of assists, though, as this loops up into the clutches of Peterson.
A good call by Peterson. I'm not sure if you heard it. Once the ball was hanging high, I heard the word keepers. Let's look at this one again. On target. Was.
Yeah. Well, the only clean sheet that Peterson has ever kept against Mamelodi Sundowns came in Chiefs' previous meeting with them. That's 0-0 draw, as another card will be produced here, this time for Spesihle Ndlovu for his challenge on Cupido.
Not even sure if he was aware. He's looking at the ball. His eyes are completely fixed on the ball. He could have pulled it out.
Yeah, well, Spesihle Ndlovu comes into this match on 3 yellow cards, so he will miss Kaizer Chiefs' next outing. Vilakazi on the bench is also on the verge of a suspension, as is Silva at the moment. So as things stand at the moment, Mamelodi Sundowns, if nothing were to change, would get 1 point from this game. That would create a very, very interesting dynamic, especially when you look at the goal difference in the Betway Premiership. Orlando Pirates, especially with those gigantic victories that they got last month, theirs is quite superior to Mamelodi Sundowns. So a draw in any of their remaining matches would certainly open the door for Orlando Pirates. Sundowns would like to ensure that they win their remaining 3, so that come the final day of the season, where they themselves will not be in action, because that same weekend they'll be playing the second leg of the Champions League final. They'll be hoping that they've already done enough, as we get another look at the save from Peterson. What do you say about the strong wrists? What's that? Give us a little bit of the technical details there.
I mean, there was no way that he was going to try and catch that. So the best way is to obviously pile it away, and he got a good palm onto the ball to fist this out.
Miguel Cardoso overseeing now his 84th match in charge of Mamelodi Sundowns. Some serious concern though
yeah.
from Cupido. Oof.
That's what, for me, I thought as soon as he turns around, he should have seen that shirt is bright enough for him to have hold his leg a bit. Maybe the knee eventually, because his momentum would have carried him, but he got him by the tip of his boot, meaning that the boot was still pretty much high up there. Question of course, was there a card raised for him?
Yeah, he did get a yellow card. Luthano Badi has only issued one red card in the Betway Premiership this season, and that was and that's a direct red card for Isak Cisse in a match between Magesi and the Montfort Golden Arrows at the Seshego Stadium back in February. Well, if this is the end of Cupido's night, that is very, very unfortunate.
Very, very. At Mamelodi Sundowns, you don't get to play that often because there's always players that are ready to come and take your position. And he was basically on the ball for the most part of the games that he had played. And if you think about the CAF Champions League that has come out as well, and wow,
and he goes straight down the tunnel, and is replaced by vastly experienced Grant Kekana,
who needs no introduction.
And of course, Sundowns have incredible quality on the bench. So, Glovu with just the yellow card. Kekana's first touch, and works it to Allende. Kekana actually set a new benchmark for successful passes in a single match in that draw against Stellenbosch last month. His touch with Matthews Cheese has given Simango here. It's good work to dispossess his man, but Chiefs couldn't create anything from that situation. Back with Mamelodi Sundowns, and reminded to Kekana. That's Kulisa Morao. He's only ever suffered one loss in 11 league matches against Kaizer Chiefs over the course of his career, and that was all the way back in 2019 when he was just starting out with the Black Leopards. Now it's a brilliant ball played through here for Leon. Brandon Peterson is quick off his line as Leon struggled to bring it under his spell.
Well, great work. That early move, anticipation to come out. What a pass from Jaden Adams. This is the kind of pass that we saw quite a great deal from when he was still at Sterlis. I think he slips a bit, Matthews there. That's what gave the goalkeeper that. Oh, that is Leon. Yeah, slips a bit, loses his footing, and that was enough for Peterson to close him down.
Now it's an absolutely brilliant pick out from Jaden Adams, who celebrated his 25th birthday yesterday.
That's what happens when the player on the ball is not pressed. Jaden Adams had time and space and view of the path in front of him to be able to squeeze that ball through. That is what you call a defense splitting pass. That moment again, pitch a little bit soft. It's a night game, understandably.
Brandon Peterson thumps that one away. Since joining Kaizer Chiefs, Peterson has only played 2 of the 9 league games against Mamelodi Sundowns over that particular period. It does to speak to how in and out he has been of this team over the years.
skating on thin ice is Ndlovu, and I'm sure probably at half time the match commissioner and the other officials might just take a closer look into that, and that would mean more pressure on Ndlovu.
Magwe back to Brandon Peterson. Magwe did have a really good start to his career at Mamelodi Sundowns after joining them in 2018, and then suffered all those injury problems as the ball just gets away from the skipper Timbazwane there. But Mamelodi Sundowns, following this foul on Mudau, will have a free kick in a great position.
Missing in action is Modi so far in this game. Lelepo has produced quite a bit on the right-hand side, but he hasn't seen much progress going forward, meaning that he's basically spending most of his time chasing on Mudau. That's, sometimes they say attack is the best form of defense. Mudau is doing exactly that, because now Modi cannot stay behind. He's got to help with the defensive work. Now, a set piece. Difficult moment for Kaizer Chiefs to defend against.
It is Allende in the end. Ndlovu under pressure here from Nemane, trying to locate a teammate, and does, but in service only of clearing their lines rather than progressing the play.
When you're under pressure, that's what happened. Because you're being forced so far back that there's hardly any personnel in the attacking phase. So you're only getting that moment to clear the ball. They don't take that much time for anybody to spray forward to make a meaningful attempt to get to the ball.
Given away here. Not too many options at the moment for Kaizer Chiefs. Flavio Silva is in the box along with Modi, but it was always going to be difficult for Mdush Shabalala to try and work something in. The Sundowns in their last league match did prevent Polokwane City from having any shots on target. It was actually the 6th time this season that they have made sure that their opponents do not test their goal. Yes, Allende almost loses out there to Modi, but Jaden Adams takes over, and now to Mokoena, getting away from his man, playing it through for Tashreeq Matthews, who's flagged for offside.
Narrowly so. I guess his focus was waiting for the pass to come, and forgot to look at the line. You got to give it to, don't know if it was Simalon, who actually didn't chase him. He stopped to let him stray outside. That is, for me, excellent tactics, individual tactics by the defender.
Shabalala steals it, then goes tumbling down as play continues. Tashreeq Matthews is offside again. No hesitation in raising the flag, Romano Piri.
I would like to see that one. I thought this time he comes a little bit deep. Oh, it's the same bend again. He's going to learn to delay that bend. Honestly, it's 3 times that he's made an attempt to get around that.
Back to Ronald Williams. 40 appearances in all competitions this season, 22 clean sheets. 13 of those have come in the league as Mdush Shabalala gets it, and he's worked it through here for Silva off the post, and in! Kaizer Chiefs are ahead! Well, Silva has been their biggest threat in front of goal this season. Restored to the lineup, and he has repaid the coach's faith in him.
If you had to ask me, man, that is your top goal scorer, and you leave him out, not unless there were injury issues that he was dealing with. I'm not too sure why would you keep a deadly man of his caliber outside of the game for this number of games. It's Ronald Williams' clearance that doesn't go too far. That is intercepted. under a bit of pressure from the same man. And then a pass is delivered by Mdu. Damane doesn't come across to provide cover. Scattered. Remember, it was a Sundowns ball. So the defenders, when you are in possession, they stretch apart. Great attempt by Ronnie Williams. Gets a touch to it, but not good enough to keep it up.
A really cute pass as well from Dushabalala, who has bagged his 4th Premiership assist of the season with that. Kaizer Chiefs, though, the last time they did go in front in a league match against Mamelodi Sundowns, they did go on to lose. That was last season at home with Rangachi Vavero scoring inside 10 minutes, but goals from Lucas Hipero and Ikram Reyners turned it around.
It is like provoking a snake in its hole. You keep poking it and it comes out. So I remember a coach, that's how he used to feel about Kaizer Chiefs in the past. He says he'll tell his team, don't score too early, because they get upset and come at us strong. Imagine. Sundowns are in that vein of form at the moment.
And all around the country, and even in this stadium, Pirates fans might be feeling a little bit guilty about celebrating, but their oldest rivals have given them a real lifeline in this title race. They did what they needed to do last night at Athlone Stadium. They are hoping that Kaizer Chiefs can provide them with a little bit of a favour as Ed McCarthy clears effectively.
It's all about providing cover, knowing when to drop in. This is what Ndabane could have done with that ball earlier. If the action is happening on the, in this case, on the left-hand side, you cannot sit on the furthest right of the attack. You've got to be right behind your first defender on defending on that channel.
And Kaizer Chiefs have won it back once again. Nepo lifting it forward. It's come all the way through to Pulemori. He was the man that intercepted Williams' pass earlier, I think, to play it upfield for Dushabalala. Namabwe stabbing it forward for Pulemori, who has straight offside.
It's a game of margins, eh?
Yeah, indeed. It's very tight.
It's very tight.
All of the offside calls have been fairly tight. This is Grant Kikano, who came on for injured Keanu Cupido, and we're going to go pitch side just briefly to hear from Luazi exactly what the status is with Cupido.
Thank you very much to our commentators as we watch Mamelodi Sundowns try to respond, having gone behind. The latest from the team doctor is that, unfortunately for Keanu Cupido, he is suffering a suspected fractured collarbone, after that collision with Uspesihle Ndlovu. And I've done a bit of homework, and as far as recovery time is concerned, it takes anything from 6 to 12 weeks. So with that, we do fear that it might be the end of the season for Keanu Cupido, which means, of course, he will miss out on what remains of the domestic season and that CAF Champions League final for Mamelodi Sundowns.
Devastating news for Sundowns and for Cupido. And whilst we were with Luazi, there was a fairly contentious moment inside, inside the Chiefs' penalty area.
I felt like
Leon almost works it there to Tembazwane. Adams had it intercepted. This is Jaden Adams. Allende. Udal. Loose effort from the flank from Kuliso Mudal.
now, let's look at this one. okay, Munyane maybe gets to the ball, but if he doesn't touch that ball, that's a penalty. Now it's a question of, did he touch the ball first or the player? Oh, Matthews. Very close one, but the ref was very close there, Grant.
Tembazwane might have been amongst the candidates to step up and take it. He did back in 2017 in a defeat here at Loftus-Versfeld, where a man who I think we'll find on the bench of Mamelodi Sundowns in Steve Kopela was in charge of Kaizer Chiefs. A young Sebong Ngezano was debuting, scored in that particular game. Tembazwane converting very neatly from the spot as well. The Sundowns went down 2-1. It's been a feature for Kaizer Chiefs. They have not had much success against Sundowns over the years as they get a free kick here, but all of their recent wins have come away from home, including in last season's Nedbank Cup semi-finals as Munyane goes clattering into Ndamane here.
Now another very difficult goal. Did Ndamane block him, or he's just stood in front of him? He was already there. Oh, it could be a question of Munyane clattering into him. So that's just a difficult one to pick out.
Munyane has stayed down. He today is featuring against Mamelodi Sundowns for the 10th time in his career in all competitions. So 8 of those appearances have come in the colours of Orlando Pirates. It's just the second with Kaizer Chiefs. Here's another look at the moment.
Yeah, it's Mori who intercepts.
Despite the best efforts of Ronan Williams, can't quite keep it out.
It's the most difficult one for any goalkeeper, because first of all, when you get the touch, you feel like I've done enough, and then to see it trickle into the back of the net, or even hitting the upright, the inside of the upright, into goal, it'd be very painful.
This is the first time that a Chiefs player has hit 8 goals in a league season since 2021-2022 campaign, so a very significant milestone for Flavio Silva. Have they found their solution, their long-term solution in front of goal? Bear in mind, this is just his first campaign with the team. In fact, the first time he was included in the squad this season was sitting on the bench in the reverse fixture, the 0-0 draw with Mamelodi Sundowns back in August. He got his chance shortly after that and went on a bit of a goal-scoring spree. 4 of his 8 came in his first 5 outings, league outings. Now, what can they do from this free kick? Aidan McCarthy is flagged for offside. Ronan Williams did make a really good point-blank stop in any case.
It is Mamelodi Sundowns that are living dangerously. Like we said, some of these calls are very marginal. I think he had straight. Yeah, there's no doubt about that one. You talk about Silva having made a reasonable start into his career here at Kaizer Chiefs. I still feel like, you know, you look at the Kaizer Chiefs team that has only scored 29 goals in 26 games. That, for me, is a big question mark, when others like Sundowns have scored 47. Still a long way off the mark when it comes to scoring enough goals to make an impact in the league.
last time the Chiefs went successive games without defeat against Mamelodi Sundowns was all the way back 2016-17 through to 2018-19 season, a 4-game run, but since then it has been pretty dismal reading in terms of their record against this Sundowns side. This is their 60th meeting, by the way, in league matches in the PSL era, and it has actually been very, very even since 1996-97. Chiefs with 21 wins, Sundowns with 22. As Tapol Mokwena's clearance ricochets back to the feet of Aubrey Modiba. He finds Brian Leal, wanted to feed Matthews first time.
He turns his leg, his side foot a little bit open. He finds Matthews.
Zwane laying it off. He has scored 3 goals previously in this time as Timber Zwane. Scrap clear by Simon. Sundowns on a 9-game unbeaten run in the league against Kaizer Chiefs with 7 wins over that period. They have scored 18 goals and conceded just 4 in that 9-game run, just to illustrate, or highlight rather, the dominance that they have had in recent years as they win themselves a free kick in a fairly good area.
Mamelodi, he's on a yellow.
Yeah.
Mention that he's treading on thin ice, skating on thin ice.
Pinged across field by Ayende. Changed the point of attack here as Modiba lifts it in with his left. Still not cleared by Kaizer Chiefs. Eventually Brad Cross flings the boot at it, and then Mdu Shabalala gets it away. Now the chase is on, and Spesitle Ndlovu really needs to tread carefully. The Mamelodi Sundowns have decided to take this quickly and try and capitalize. Modiba strikes it, and it's straight at Peterson, who's well positioned at his near posts.
I'll be surprised if the ref doesn't go back and have a talking to Ndlovu.
Yeah.
I know the game is hot. Sometimes you don't have time to think clearly. You see that? That for me is a card. It's almost an elbow. It is an elbow. Bookable. Now, I hear Mangova's call about VAR. The sooner it is introduced. I'm talking Golden Arrows head coach, Mangova Miti.
Well, we've already had one player who's had to depart the fields prematurely, and now Tabizo Monyane appears to really be struggling here. Fullback who turned 26 last month. Monyane is enjoying a great first season with Kaizer Chiefs.
And of course, the only other possible replacement for Monyane is Rosler sitting on the bench.
Yeah. Now, what do you do in this situation? Because Ndlovu is surely just one mistimed tackle, as innocuous as it may be, from getting a second booking.
Listen, we're going into the first half. It's only 5 minutes. And if the coach doesn't make the decision, then I don't know what he's going to make him. Because there's pressure in that middle. You can't blame him. Chiefs are under pressure.
Well,
so Ndlovu's being forced to now and then, obviously, commit those fouls.
If you recall, Spongiseni Mtetwa played in the middle of the park in that 0-0 draw back in August and was man of the match in that game. It might be the man to come on.
Definite, because you're playing against Mamelodi Sundowns, who obviously need to brace up your midfield with a lot of defensive players. Obviously, they need to play when they have the ball. So Mtetwa could be the right alternative to fill in that gap. Maybe not as offensive as though.
Yeah. Well, we've entered into a period here where both teams are fairly prolific. Mamelodi Sundowns have scored 10 goals in the quarter hour before half-time. Kaizer Chiefs have managed 9 during this period. So let's wait and see. The remaining 5 minutes before the interval. Flying in now. Wanyane, who's returned to the fields, making his presence felt. Modiba facing Kaizer Chiefs for the 25th time in his career in all competitions. As we just give you an idea in your bottom left corner of the screen about where Mamelodi Sundowns really start to get through the gears. There are slow starters this season. Actually, there are no sides that have as few goals in the opening 15 minutes. Onside is Shabalala. Works it here to Brad Cross. A rare foray forward for him. Across his ball. Almost something made of it by Lilepo. Dudley Cross has it again. And to Ndamane. Mamelodi Sundowns shut out by Kaizer Chiefs in their previous league match, having scored in the 11 league games against Chiefs prior to that. They hadn't been shut out since the 2019-20 season, their first meeting of that particular campaign before the COVID-19 pandemic. A hard-earned clean sheet for Chiefs on that day.
It is fierce. It's toe-to-toe. It's becoming a bit brutal. Which way is it going to go? Stay with us.
Well, it's a very quick.
Don't dare touch that remote control.
Nah, don't you dare. It was a very quick turnaround time for Mamelodi Sundowns. The Chiefs have had an entire week to kind of stew in that fairly tepid display that they produced against Sibilele. So perhaps it's not all too surprising to see them coming out with this level of aggression and hunger and desire.
I'm going to feel pity for Mamelodi Sundowns, honestly. This schedule they're having is just incredible.
And Miguel Cardoso has pointed that out several times.
People don't understand. They think it's just complaining. You don't understand.
Well, think about this period that they are going through now, where they play Polokwane City back-to-back Wednesday and then Sunday. They're in action again today. It's the 6th. They'll be in action again on the 9th and then again on the 12th. As Jaden Adams is the latest player booked. He's gone in on Ndu Shabalala from behind.
It's fierce, it's toe-to-toe, and it's brutal.
Jaden Adams, also a player who will now be suspended, having come into this game on 3 bookings.
I hope it's not frustration on his part that is creeping in. He's been clean, he's been decent. Very lively in that middle, providing so much cover defensively, and also he put that pass through. That Leon couldn't bury it.
So he missed the game against Sibulele, the final game is TS Galaxy, and then as far in the CAF Champions League final to come has given him. Simango gets into a war of words with Miguel Cardoso and his technical team.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6 minutes to be added before end of the first half.
Well, we're uncertain as to how that all kicked off. Even Inacio Miguel has come in front of the dugout of Mamelodi Sundowns. He's quickly ushered away by his teammates. Oof. Yeah, there have been some very heavy challenges in this game from both sides.
From both sides. It's the type of kick that you'll only feel later, because it happens a little to the side of the shin.
Well, I hate to disagree with you, but I think he's feeling it now. He's certainly in a lot of discomfort. But I get you. Tonight he's going to be, yeah, it's not going to be a happy lad. Gator McKenzie recently announced that he's sending a fan from each one of the 16 Betway Premiership sides to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and there is Hugo Broos. He's made it known that 80% of his squad is already finalised, but there are still places in the team. And Klopi Motsepe watching on in the middle of two club legends, Tony Mabunda and Surprise Moriri.
And you saw Trapattoni, Tratmoloto that is. A week or so back, he was in Sesheko Stadium, and he told me his home is just behind the goalpost on one of those sides. Sesheko Stonebreakers is the team that he played for. He says there was no stadium here. What you see now didn't exist.
And Dushabalala has his shirt over his face. He appears to be in a lot of pain, and hopefully we'll be able to get an update.
But if he's being carried like this, it means his game is over.
Oh man.
Just like that of Cupido.
Well, the stakes are high, and the game appears to just be boiling over a little bit.
We're lovely to see an intensive game, but when it boils over into this nature, then it's not nice. There's so much at stake, yes.
So, we will see now the introduction of a man who won 7 league titles with Mamelodi Sundowns, Gaston Serino. Made over 200 appearances for the Brazilians, 85 goal contributions. What a time he had here at this club. But now in the colours of Kaizer Chiefs, he comes on for the stricken Dushabalala. And it goes. Lile Paul. Serino. Mabwe. Weba Mokwena. Sign it. This is Modiba. Jaden Adams. Allende. Moni's quickly upon him, but the Chilean recovers. Significant chunk of injury time at the end of this first half. About 90 seconds now from the interval. Brandon Peterson first came up against Mamelodi Sundowns good 13 years ago. 2013 turned out for Ajax in a 2-2 draw against the Brazilians.
I don't know if you'll be reminded of his experience. I think, I'm not sure if it was his first Chiefs Sundowns game when he conceded the goal that many thought, in fact, that many it was a howler.
And he has never won against Mamelodi Sundowns in the league. Brandon Peterson over the years.
But he's redeemed himself over the years. Over the number of games, particularly this season, he's been a star for Kaizer Chiefs.
Damane. Ukwena. Wanyane with a strong challenge. Should be forthcoming any moments from now. Kikana. They end it bursting onto it, but just getting away from him. Kaizer Chiefs will take a lead into the break. Damane under it. Allende, Adams, cut out by Ada McCarthy. Gaston Sereno. Two former Sundowns men combine as Mabwe plays it into the path here of Pulimori. And it will be a free kick for Amakhosi deep into first half injury time here.
Exactly where they'll like to keep this game for whatever remains of additional time. Yeah, there's a hand, there's a nudge.
Sereno. Mabwe gets away from Matthews and delivers it to McCarthy, who loops a shot over the goal. "18 league games without defeats for Mamelodi Sundowns." They have just one half against Kaizer Chiefs now to try and ensure that that unbeaten streak continues. Although merely levelling would not really be enough in terms of what they would want to have achieved here this evening with Buccaneers in hot pursuit.
But of course, any point at this stage will also be meaningful because there's still 2 games to go and anything can still happen.
Well, Kaizer Chiefs are taking advantage into the break. It has been a fierce first half, a fiery 45 minutes of action in which Flavio Silva gave Amakhosi the lead after a mistake from Ronwen Williams, a loose pass intercepted by Pule Mori, a brilliant assist applied by Mdu Shabalala, who sadly had to go off injured and did not look to be in a good way, as was the case earlier when Keanu Cupido had suffered a fairly grievous injury at the hands of, or at least the foot of Spesihle Ndlovu, suspected broken collarbone. It has all happened here this evening at Loftus Versfeld. It was built as a high-stakes match that would bring us plenty. I think we have got plenty already.
It has turned out exactly that way, and it's only the brutal part that maybe we can only be concerned about.
45 minutes in the books. Kaizer Chiefs. Will they disrupt Sundowns' title charge? They're ahead at the break.
It's half time here at Loftus Versfeld. The opening 45 minutes as physical as I don't think anyone could have expected. A particularly robust approach from both sides. First Kaizer Chiefs and then Mamelodi Sundowns in response. And it is that robust approach that has brought to the end of Keanu Cupido and Mdu Shabalala's contributions to this particular game. A case of two shoulders. First, it was Keanu Cupido who suffered a suspected fractured collarbone after that collision with Ndlovu in the midfield, and then after it was Mdu Shabalala who we understand has popped his shoulder. His shoulder has popped out of its socket, and so we'll find out exactly how that does go on as far as recovery is concerned. But the good news is that for Thomas and his team in studio, they do have a goal to sink their teeth into. It is Flavio da Silva, his 8th. It is the difference between the hosts and the visitors at half-time.
Williams, 40 appearances in all competitions this season, 22 clean sheets, 13 of those have come in the league as Mdu Shabalala gets it and he's worked it through here for Silva off the post and in! Kaizer Chiefs are ahead! Well, Silva has been their biggest threat in front of goal this season. Restored to the lineup and he has repaid the coach's faith in him.
If you had to ask me, a man that is the top goal scorer, and you leave him out, not unless there were injury issues that he was dealing with. I'm not too sure why would you keep a deadly man of his caliber outside of the game for this number of games. It's Ronnie Williams' clearance that doesn't go too far. That is intercepted under a bit of pressure from the same man. And then a pass is delivered by Mdu. Gamane doesn't come across to provide cover. Scattered. Remember, it was a Sundowns ball. So the defenders, when they are in possession, they stretch apart. Great attempt by Ronnie Williams here. Gets a touch to it, but not good enough to keep it up.
A really cute pass as well from Mdu Shabalala, who has bagged his 4th. Williams, 40 appearances in all competitions this season, 22 clean sheets, 13 of those have come in the league as Mdu Shabalala gets it and he's worked it through here for Silva off the post! Back to Ronald Williams. 40 appearances in all competitions this season, 22 clean sheets, 13 of those have come in the league as Mdu Shabalala gets it and he's worked it through here for Silva off the post and in! Back to Ronald Williams. 40 appearances in all competitions this season, 22 clean sheets. 13 of those have come in the league as Dushabalala gets it, and he's worked it through here for Silva off the post and in. 40 appearances in all competitions this season, 22 clean sheets. 13 of those have come in the league as Dushabalala gets it, and he's worked it through here for Silva off the post and in. Kaizer Chiefs are ahead. 40 appearances in all competitions this season, 22 clean sheets. 13 of those have come in the league as Dushabalala gets it, and he's worked it through here for Silva off the post and in. Clean sheets, 13 of those have come in the league as Dushabalala gets it, and he's worked it through here for Silva off the post and in. Kaizer Chiefs are ahead. Well, Silva has been clean sheets. 13 of those have come in the league as Dushabalala gets it, and he's worked it through here for Silva off the post and in. Kaizer Chiefs are ahead. Well, Silva has been their biggest threat to 40 appearances in all competitions this season, 22 clean sheets. 13 of those have come in the league as Dushabalala gets it, and he's worked it through here for Silva off the post and in. 40 appearances in all competitions this season, 22 clean sheets. 13 of those have come in the league as Dushabalala gets it, and he's worked it through here for Silva off the post and in. Kaizer Chiefs are ahead.
I'm glad that the standard has been kept from that point of view, because even during Peter Mosmani's tenure at Sundowns, he was always concerned about just the height of the grass and all that.
Now Tashik Matthews has got the pace and he's giving him some angle slips. Matthews looking for an option. Peterson keeps it out.
Quality. Top quality. Matthews, yeah. Okay. Msmango slips eventually, initially, but you think at this time Matthews is going to cross it, but he still has time. That's quality goalkeeping. Kept that. I'm glad that the standard has been kept from that point of view, because even during Peter Mosmani's tenure at Sundowns, he was always concerned about just the height of the grass and all that.
Now Tashik Matthews has got the pace and he's giving him some angle slips. Matthews looking for an option. Peterson keeps it.
I'm glad that the standard has been kept from that point of view, because even during Peter Mosmani's tenure at Sundowns, he was always concerned about just the height of the grass and all that.
Now Tashik Matthews has got the pace and he's giving him some angle slips. Matthews looking for an option. Peterson keeps it.
The height of the grass and all that.
Now Tashik Matthews has got the pace and he's giving him some angle slips. Matthews looking for an option. Peterson keeps it out.
The height of the grass and all that.
Now Tashik Matthews has got the pace and he's giving him some angle slips. Matthews looking for an option. Peterson keeps it out.
Tenure at Sundowns, he was always concerned about just the height of the grass and all that.
Now Tashik Matthews has got the pace and he's giving him some angle slips. Matthews looking for an option. Peterson keeps it.
Tenure at Sundowns, he was always concerned about just the height of the grass and all that.
Now Tashik Matthews has got the pace and he's giving him some angle slips. Matthews looking for an option. Peterson keeps it. He's only ever suffered one loss in 11 league matches against Kaizer Chiefs over the course of his career, and that was all the way back in 2019 when he was just starting out with the Black Leopards. Now it's a brilliant ball played through here for Leon. Brandon Peterson is quick off his line as Leon struggled to bring it under his spell.
Well, great work. That early move, anticipation to come out. What a pass from Jaden Adams. This is the kind of pass that we saw quite a great deal from when he was still at Sterlis. I think he slips a bit, Matthews there. That's what gave the goalkeeper that. Oh, that is Leon. Yeah, slips a bit, loses his footing, and that was enough for Peterson.
He's only ever suffered one loss in 11 league matches against Kaizer Chiefs over the course of his career, and that was all the way back in 2019 when he was just starting out with the Black Leopards. Now it's a brilliant ball played through here for Leon Brandon Peterson. He's only ever suffered one loss in 11 league matches against Kaizer Chiefs over the course of his career, and that was all the way back in 2019 when he was just starting out with the Black Leopards. Now it's a brilliant ball played through here for Leon Brandon Peterson. He's only ever suffered one loss in 11 league matches against Kaizer Chiefs over the course of his career, and that was all the way back in 2019 when he was just starting out with the Black Leopards. Now it's a brilliant ball played through here for Leon Brandon Peterson. It's quick back in 2019 when he was just starting out with the Black Leopards. Now it's a brilliant ball played through here for Leon Brandon Peterson. Back in 2019 when he was just starting out with the Black Leopards. Now it's a brilliant ball played through here for Leon Brandon Peterson. All the way back in 2019 when he was just starting out with the Black Leopards. Now it's a brilliant ball played through here for Leon Brandon Peterson. 2019 when he was just starting out with the Black Leopards. Now it's a brilliant ball played through here for Leon Brandon Peterson. 2019 when he was just starting out with the Black Leopards. Now it's a brilliant ball played through here for Leon Brandon Peterson. It's quick. Welcome back to Loftus Versfeld, where the visitors, Kaizer Chiefs, have a 1-0 lead over title-chasing Mamelodi Sundowns. Remember, the Kaizer Chiefs are still trying to lock up their third place position at where they currently are. They're 5 clear of Skakuni United and AmaZulu. Skakuni defeating Chippa United in their rescheduled game today after it was called off last night. AmaZulu in action against Arrows. Currently, as we confirm, some changes for you, and we do see the introduction now of Nuno Santos as well as Tapelo Morena. Santos did come off the bench in the game against Polokwane City as we get back underway. That was over the weekend on Sunday. Scored. It's the 12th time that Sundowns had scored via a substitute, so they do have a pretty good record this season of players making an impact from the bench. Let's see what these two can do.
From what I've seen of Santos, I am so impressed. And his entry could mean disaster for Kaizer. Not only is he a great passer of the ball, but he's got this vision that is just so incredible. Obviously, the execution is what follows, and he can take some decent strikes from some range. He's got football brains of the highest kind. I mean, he played for Premiership. That's no small team.
Yeah, and we're not talking about a player who's over the hill. He's in his mid-20s.
No.
He played almost every league game for Vitória Guimarães last season in the Portuguese top flight as they finished 6th. So this is
Top player.
top player. Mamelodi Sundowns trying to preserve their 9-game unbeaten streak against Kaizer Chiefs in the league. Yes, it did lose quite recently to them. That was last season, about just over a year ago, in fact, in the semi-finals of the Nedbank Cup, and in the league they have been sensational against Chiefs. But with that said, Chiefs wins over Sundowns, their recent wins have all been away from home. Their last 17 league matches, Chiefs have won just 3 times, Sundowns 10 times, but all 3 of those victories have been on the road. They've been in Pretoria.
The surprise of the first half, of course, is the fact that Chiefs only got 1 shot on target, and that was the goal. And basically that story tells of how well Sundowns was structured up until that moment. And I think that's how it's going to continue to be.
With a 0-0 draw in August, Sundowns had 62% of the possession, but they only managed 7 shots in total, and only 2 of those were on target. And 7 shots in a match is actually the fewest that they've managed in any league game this season, jointly along with their 1-0 draw with Orlando Pirates back in November. So it was a game in which Kaizer Chiefs really showed their defensive discipline. They themselves produced 13 shots in that game with 4 on target. And only twice this season have Sundowns actually faced more than 4 shots on target in a league match. So there were signs in that reverse fixture that Chiefs might be trying to turn things around against a side that have absolutely dominated them over the years. Mabwe going down. It's the first time he's facing Mamelodi Sundowns since 2018 when he was with Maritzburg United. It was a 2-2 draw in which he actually scored a goal. Then of course he went on to move to Mamelodi Sundowns, where he had 3 really good seasons, in particular his first at the club, and then was just absolutely plagued by injuries. He's a player that lost a good chunk of his prime to injury, and it's quite unfortunate when you consider what he's been able to produce with Chiefs this season. We could have seen more of that and for longer. Brian Leon is the man who's gone down. Looks like a little bit of an off-the-ball incident. Unless there was an elbow flung at his chest that we didn't see, but to be honest, William, I didn't see anything there.
I see McCarthy making a 10.
Yeah.
Must have looks like a hand to the chest.
Maybe, yeah. Gaston Sereno scored for Sundowns the last time Chiefs won a league game against the Brazilians. How about that? That was all the way back in the 2020-2021 season, just over 5 years ago, April of 2021. Gaston Sereno opening the scoring for Sundowns in that game, and then 2 quick-fire goals in the second half for Chiefs, Musolabusa's own goal and Tumsani Zuma's winner. But since then, they have gone 9 league games without victory, as Ndlovu finds himself on the receiving end of a challenge from Leon and Tabo Mokoena sandwiching him.
I think Leon caught him in the top of the laces.
Ndlovu playing his 13th league match against Mamelodi Sundowns this evening. Across the various clubs he's featured for, he has never been involved in a league win, as Nuno Santos comes forward here, dispossessed by Eddie McCarthy. Forward for Silva. Runs through for Grant Kekana. Still more defensive work to do with Pulemori reading that one well and intercepting, just as he did for the goal. Pulemori, another that has played multiple times against Sundowns in the league over the years and has never been on the right side of a result. 3 draws and 7 defeats in the 10 league games previously he's played against them. He was involved in that 6-0 defeat that Arrows suffered to Sundowns about 4 years ago, the 5-1 loss the Chiefs suffered to Sundowns 2 seasons back. So some of the less pleasant days in his football career have come against the Brazilians. Moved out wide here for Modiba. Well, Ndlovu came to assist Munyane, but
hands wrapped all around him.
I was going to say, Ndlovu was lucky that he didn't get involved there, because
now the man on the ball.
2 excellent free kick takers here. Maybe Santos who leaves it for Modiba. Chiefs have been very susceptible to conceding from headers this season, as Brandon Peterson gets it clear. 29% of the goals they've conceded have been to headers. There's actually no side in the division that have conceded a higher percentage of their total goals to headers, as Aubrey Modiba tries his best to try and dig one out here, but can't.
Yeah, as soon as the ball hits the ground, it just skids away from him.
Perhaps one encouraging statistic for Mamelodi Sundowns fans is that in their 13 home games this season in the league, they have scored in every single one of them.
I saw something last week in midweek in Polokwane Seshego Stadium. The approach from Polokwane City. I know things, the tables turned around over the weekend, but what they did very well in a small pitch was just to sit back. Whatever Sundowns tried to put through the through ball, it always went all the way to the goalkeeper. So Sundowns never really were able to build up higher or to get behind the defensive line.
Here is Mokoena. Now brilliant ball in! Brian Leon with the leveler! Well, he's been on fire in front of goal since joining Sundowns at the beginning of the year. And he has them back on terms in one of the most crucial matches of the season.
Listen, I was worried about Modiba and Leon. These runs behind the defenders, this time it comes from the right-hand side with Mudau. These are his best moments, how he calculates and the decision to peel off the defender at the right time and not be offside. I've seen him do that over and over. Brilliant.
That's a 3rd assist in all competitions for Kaizer Mudau, as Brian Leo bags his 6th Betway Premiership goal, but that's his 11th in all competitions. He hasn't scored in the Betway Premiership since that outrageous goal against Chippa United at the beginning of last month, but did bag a goal in each of the semi-final legs against Esperance in the CAF Champions League. Making the most of a chance in the 11 is Brian Leon, who hadn't got a start since the match away to Durban City that was just under a month ago. Game 1 and truly on.
It's almost like you know it's going to come at some stage. Sure, it's just a matter of time. I mean, things didn't quite fall for them in that first half, but they still controlled a big chunk of the game.
That's why I was eager to squeeze in the point about not having failed to score in any of their home league games this season, because it has come to pass once again as Tastrik Matthews is dispossessed by Mabwe. There's Jaden Adams. There's some real fire in the Sundowns play now as Santos launches one from range. Every team in the division has conceded more than once to long-range strikes, except for Kaizer Chiefs. The only goal they've conceded in the Betway Premiership from outside the box was Tebang Moremi's deflected goal in the 3-0 loss they suffered to Orlando Pirates. Bruce Boomer was in goal for that. Brandon Peterson has saved every long-range shot he's faced in the Betway Premiership this season.
It's a good time to score an equalizing goal, meaning that for the rest of what remains of the second half, you've got time to be able to strategize how you get the second one. And Chiefs were in the lead, having conceded. They might drop their guards down a little bit and be discouraged to concede so early. So that's why Mamelodi Sundowns, if they keep up the heat, you know, there's a big chance. But if it takes a bit longer, it allows Chiefs to settle.
Some fairly desperate defending as the tackles go flying in. It's another look at the live log. As things stand, Mamelodi Sundowns would move just 3 points clear currently, well, coming into the game, 2 points clear of Orlando Pirates. They desire to stretch that to 5.
Jovo again.
Yep.
There's the last one.
The last warning. Premiership has been tallying them up, and he's indicating to the referee it's just been 3 since the yellow. Oh man!
Listen, that's why for me, he's no business being in the field of play. They had half time to be able to sort this thing in that middle of the park about who can come in and at least replace him. He's a high risk as we speak.
At this point, it just seems like an oversight now by the coaches. They are going to be a man down if they don't sort this out. And it does look like they are trying to tinker with the lineup now.
But what took them so long? I mean, honestly, from the first half, you could see that this man is right there on the door, on the show.
Whatever puts it in and stretching for it is Jaden Adams.
Oh, what a take.
Yeah.
Simango just barely gets there, but good enough to deflect it for a corner.
They have to contend with another set piece as Mokoena flicks it towards the danger area, but Kaizer Chiefs deal with it quite comfortably now. Rolled out here for cross. Sereno. Williams knocks it into touch. It's a nice idea from cross. Munyane, Mabwe, Ndlovu. Pulemori knocks it back here to Ada McCarthy. Defensive work done by Premiership. Modiba forward. Ada McCarthy all the way through to Ronwen Williams here. Kekana, Tindamane, Modiba. Half an hour remaining for Mamelodi Sundowns to capture the 3 points that they need to stay in control of this title race. It's given him Simango's cut it out well. This is Jaden Adams bursting onto it.
It looks like this is just going to be what remains of the half for Kaizer being on the back foot for the most part, because they hardly put a foot on the ball. They hardly can keep the ball for 2 passes. That's just Sundowns playing almost by themselves, if I may put it, but only in their own half. But they still do decent passes every now and then, as you can see that one.
The Chiefs do come here riding a fairly poor run in terms of away results, winless in their last 3 on the road. As we cut to a very happy man, it's Siyabonga Mdao, who walks away from the stadium today. 20,000 Rand richer, courtesy of Spudisa and Win and Betway. He's an active Betway account holder. His winnings doubled from 10k to 20. Now this is Tabo Mokoena trying to create another chance. 7 chances he created against Polokwane City. As that one is whipped towards goal on the turn by Leon.
I've seen them scored from turns of this nature, but it lacked the real power. Did well Santos to fight for that one.
There is Mokoena again. Only one player this season has created more chances in a single game than Mokoena did against Polokwane City over the weekend. Also created 7 chances against Amazulu in February, but only pulling Morema against Arrows for Polokwane City back in September. Created more chances in a single game as Sundowns fight forward once again. Jaden Adams chopped down, and free kick opportunity here. The yellow card being produced.
Now, did he dive? It looks like a card for Jaden.
And Jaden Adams is already on a yellow card. Okay.
Wow. Wow.
What a turn of events.
That's a game changer.
Game-changing moment, William Shongwe, for sure.
Question is, what was it doing? Now we'll have a chance to see exactly what happened. Did he fake it?
Well, that's the first one. Oh yeah, he was already going down, looking for it. Well spotted by Nkolobadi. Needless. And
Chiefs players were all around him. I guess they remembered that it was on the yellow and that was a dive. Oh, unfortunate.
Well, as Jaden Adams is walking off, Spesihle Ndlovu, who probably should not be on the field, is about to be replaced. And it just shows you that minor moments can change a game.
He was having a brilliant game. He had no business doing that. If anything, on the Sundowns team, for me, he was top.
Now, Ndlovu got a yellow for that. And then the
second one, possible one.
Oh, man.
Bad.
To be honest, all of these could have been yellow cards on their own.
That's why, to see him come back into the second half, for me, it was a test of fate by the Chiefs coaches.
Well, Oxum Tetu is on, as we mentioned, man of the match when these two sides met in August. Silva. Now they can really take Sundowns on, the 10 men of Mamelodi Sundowns.
So how are Chiefs going to take advantage of this? Did they plan for this? Can they play with an extra man? Can he take advantage? Is the other question. It's not automatic that the team is numerically disadvantaged, then it is going to be a walk in the park.
The money looks long. They might have to become a little more pragmatic, you would suspect, looking for the pace of Brian Leon with those longer balls, and here he is causing a real nuisance as Teta sticks in the foot brilliantly against Nuno Santos. Mamelodi Sundowns have won their last 4 league games at home against Kaizer Chiefs, their longest run of successive home victories ever in the top flight against Chiefs, and they have never in the PSL era gone unbeaten for more than 4 matches in a row against Amakosi.
I'm afraid that we're going to have another raid here, and it's from the Chiefs. It's going to come from the Chiefs side. It'll be an easy one for the ref to be able to make, because I'm sure in the half he was spoken to about some of those that he missed.
So Pulimori into the book. He's actually featured against Sundowns more often than any other team over the course of his career, especially in Ndlovu, possibly one of the luckiest men inside this venue tonight. Getting a rest on the bench, having been substituted. And it comes from Santos. Trickles away for a throw-in. Could so very easily have been a corner though. Onto him in a flash. Stoops to header it clear, does give him Simango.
Used his hand, Serino.
Yeah. Whoa! Was unconventional.
Lack of communication. I'm not sure if Maccabi had the call from goalkeeper. Even though they are men down, look at their dominance. They still are controlling the game.
Santos lifts it to the flank. Without measures that cross, but that cross is quickly there to impede him. Amazulu are up against Lamont for Golden Arrows, by the way, so they could be closing the gap on Kaizer Chiefs. Ooh. And if that had deflected a little differently off of McCarthy.
Yeah, I guess it is a call very late.
Simango. Peterson. Sundowns have thoroughly dominated this game with about 70% of the possession. They have outpassed Kaizer Chiefs, have hit more than 250 more passes than the Chiefs have managed, successful passes. But the statistic that's perhaps the most telling, 19 touches in Chiefs' box. Chiefs have managed just 4 in the 18-yard area of Sundowns as the Brazilians again come forward, realizing just how crucial it is to collect all 3 points here. We've already done the equations for you. This game, upon the conclusion, will mean that Sundowns have played 1 game more than Pirates. So if they were to get only a draw, they would be 3 points ahead. As again, the ball from out wide is causing some serious issues.
Listen, for me, Ndao, Modiba are brilliant because now they're -1. So there's not an overlapping of the play in that middle. The minute they get it wide, they ping it into the balls. But they've got to make sure that at least Tashik and the Brazilian Leon are closest to one another. But Leon, you don't need to invite him to get into those type of areas. You'll find him for sure.
This is Santos to Kekana. Williams. Oh, they sucked in a few Chiefs players, but they can't bypass them. And here is Lilepo Mtetwa. Lilepo is offside.
Mtetwa should have known better. If you don't push it, a return pass to a player that is peeling wide and into an offside position. There's nothing with what Lilepo did. He was obviously a tracking defender. That's why Ndamani didn't even bother to follow him, deliberately knowing that he's offside already.
Season yet to be defeated in open play at home in all competitions. 18 wins, 5 draws from Mamelodi Sundowns, although in 2 of those draws in cup matches, in the MTN 8 against Pirates and the Ikana knockout against Gallants, they did go on to lose on penalties. But if you look at the league, only unbeaten in their last 27 home games. They have lost only 1 of their last 56 home games in the league. That was to Cape Town City at the end of the season. 2 seasons back as Munyane puts it in. They'll get another opportunity here, potentially. It's an improvised clearance, but it is away. Naman to Modiba. Spins in Mtetwa. Serino. My boy. Simonga to McCarthy. Brad Cross urged to get a little further forward. Here's Pulimori. And it comes from Cross. Lilepo rising. And Modiba did enough to put him off, but the danger still not gone as Munyane crosses. Now Serino gets the return. Flag stays down. Gaston Serino with a chance to measure it. And it will be a corner. Although Kaizer Chiefs, William, have only scored once from corners this season. That was Wandile Duba, who's currently out in 4-1 win over Magesi in April.
Chiefs slowly adapting to the air Kaizer space that they now have. They're beginning to make the circle bigger, making Sundowns to chase a bit more in that middle.
Munyane's ball in. Thumped away by Santos. Decent hold-up play, Serino. And not his best effort. .55% of Chiefs' goals this season, 16 of their total goals have come in the final 30 minutes of matches. Mamelodi Sundowns also really good in the closing stages of games. Quarter hour remaining here at Loftus. Incredible to see so many fans turn out for a midweek game, which was also the case at the FNB Stadium back in August. It was also a Wednesday night match.
weight of the pass from Modi, a little bit strong.
Has given them hope. The dismissal of Jaden Adams has made things a lot trickier though. There's Lilepo. And play continues. There wasn't enough in that. So he looked to draw the foul from Tashreeq Matthews, who now goes on the offensive. To Santos. Modiba. Matthews. Good defensive work done by Munyan.
He's also had a decent game. His recovery is excellent.
Modiba. Have to get that right and did. Giving him Simango. Worked in by Santos. Still creating decent chances here. Tabelo Morena trying to make something happen on that right-hand flank. Brad Cross under some pressure. Launched from miles out, and that was worth an effort from a man certainly capable in Tabelo Morena. Does have 5 goals in all competitions this season. 3 in the league, which is his best tally for Mamelodi Sundowns, jointly with the 23-24 season. He needs just 1 more goal to equal his best ever league tally that he earned for Supersport United in successive seasons in 2021 and 2021-22. McCarthy cushions it to Cross. He spots a movement from Silva. And the first assistance swiftly raising his flag. Let's have a look at this. William, he's inside his own half. Cross watches it well. Trying to prevent the corner, which he has done superbly. A big reaction from Brad Cross as well.
So where Chiefs might fail themselves now, each time there's a clearance high up in the pitch, they take forever to shift and close the gap in between. They're happy to create a middle type of block. There are many that got the numbers that can press the issue a little bit higher.
Now that pass from Santos cut out, slipped, but a great recovery from Mabwe. And yet another offside against Lilepo. That's the experience of Grant Kekana. He stepped up brilliantly there to catch Lilepo offside. As the goal scorer Brian Leon is withdrawn, and on comes Ikram Reyners, a man who is chasing the golden boot. Has 12 goals currently. I guess Serino becomes the latest player to go into the book. 3rd Chiefs player to see yellow this evening.
And Reyners, a similar player to Leon. He runs a lot, runs behind the defenders. Clinical, of course, in front of goal. And with fresh legs, they'll be hoping that he can make use of his speed and energy.
The Sundowns still have the top scorer in this tie on the bench. That's Peter Shalalile. As we're going to have a look at this challenge, Sparks and Teto and Damane. Shalalile has 8 goals in this fixture. He's leading scorer, having recently moved past Lamo Tafunya, who has scored against you in the past, William. Just saying. He was the top scorer in this tie with 7 goals. Shalalile having scored in the 4-0 Carling knockout quarter-final victory last season, going above him with 8 as Serino is upended here by Moriba.
There are a lot of frustrated players in the field of play, and Mamelodi Sundowns cannot afford to lose their heads. They've played in much tougher competitions, much pressure games, and they should be able to control the emotions better than this. That for me is a reaction of a player that is losing it inside. Not unless Serino owes Modiba from his time.
Divine Lunga standing by for Mamelodi Sundowns and 2 youngsters for Kaizer Chiefs in the form of Kaizer and Asmani Vilibai. From Serino, and Ron Williams grateful to get his gloves on that. Tetra prevents Raiders from getting on the end of that. And now just stop and play will allow the changes to take place. Gilepo making way alongside Pulemori, who did recently go into the book, and Vilibai and Vilakazi are on in their place. So a real injection of energy now late on for Kaizer Chiefs.
That will be the expectation. Vilibai, I just feel like he's not getting enough game from it. Every time he comes in, he comes up with a lot of energy, takes defenders on, and he looks lively. But somehow he hasn't had that chance to play that many games.
Here's Vilakazi, his first involvement. Tetwa. Just can't get the pass away with Mokoena quickly upon him. Now, last season, Kaizer Chiefs ended what was a 12-game winless run in all competitions with that Nedbank Cup semi-final victory. They had lost 9 times and drawn 3 times over that run, and now, late on here against Sundowns, looking to end their winless league run, which stretches back just over 5 years and 9 games. Slings it forward here for Ikram Reyners. The bounce may be kind. Tashrik Matthews giving it to Mango. Makes a brave challenge there. Oxen Tetra is the furthest man up the field. Vilibai wants the return. Justin Serino pounces on it. 10 men of Mamelodi Sundowns still moving the ball around well.
Fortunately, time is not on their side.
Matthews.
Another interesting approach.
Well hit, so not too well hit, shall I say, by Modiba.
A lot of the balls are being played through from a bit deep now over the defensive line of Kaizer Chiefs. And the second ball, Sundowns are picking all of them.
That was Aubrey Modiba's last involvement as he still searches for that first goal of the season. And now on comes the record scorer in this tie, Peter Shalalile. 4 of his 8 goals against Chiefs have come in the league. 8 league appearances he's made against them. He's actually an unused sub in the 0-0 draw back in August.
Believe it or not, number 27, I'll tell you his name, for Sundowns, has dropped into the left full position.
Yeah, Morena.
Morena, that is, yeah. With the Modiba coming out. Now they're looking for speed. Yes, he might not be able to deliver the cross, but if you think about him coming through with overlapping runs, it's definitely going to give you that.
Mabwe has won it. Vilakazi now, great skill from Fundo Vilakazi, getting away from Santos, almost feeding Silva. Here is Sorinho, and Greg Kekana makes the clearance. And now the referee calls a halt to proceedings. That looked very awkward.
Yeah, he seems to step on the ball. Probably twisted his knee or ankle.
They've made all 5 subs, so if indeed this is as serious as it looks, Sundowns will be down to 9 men. Well, that's why the fans always get excited when he is prepared. Oh,
no ways was there. Oh, there's a cup final in about 2-3 weeks.
yeah.
CAF, I'm talking biggest in the tournament.
And Sundowns players falling like flies at the moment. It's extremely concerning for them. 36 days to go to the FIFA World Cup, and yeah, hopefully those that are being considered managed to survive the rest of the season. There's been a grueling campaign for these Mamelodi Sundowns players. You look at the fact that they're playing their 46th game of the season tonight. Someone like Tashreeq Matthews has featured in all 46 of those.
Now, here's the thing. This is basically the problem with the overusage of players. Injuries are the result, and this is what the coach is always talking about. And this is what people don't understand. When players play this many games, you lose it along the way. You become prone to this type of injuries.
Full house in Tshwane here at Loftus Versfeld Stadium. Sold out affair for this pivotal game in what has been an enthralling Betway Premiership campaign. So he's at least walking himself off the pitch. He's heavily strapped here, is Morena, and does appear to be jogging with relative ease, which is very good news for Miguel Cardoso. She'll be going to the World Cup. Congratulations, being one of the fans selected. Santos has won it. Trying to find Shalalile. Tabelo Morena, by the way, is back on the park. It's been a high-intensity game. It's Peter Shalalile with the challenge. He's got a couple of goals against Chiefs during his time at Highlands Park. In total, 10 times in 17 appearances he's netted against Amagosi as Eddie McCarthy sweeps it out to the right-hand side where Vilakazi has taken it brilliantly, stands it up well, and Ronald Williams is able to grab hold of that. That's some composed defending from Kolisa Mudau.
The class of Mudau, even under pressure. He's that composed to chest it back to the goalkeeper.
Man, he has a couple of goals against Kaizer Chiefs during his time at Mamelodi Sundowns, although both of them have come in cup matches. There's McCarthy receiving from Cross. Looks long. Vilibai. He's taken it well, pursued by Mudau. Does go down, but not nearly enough in that.
Let's watch this last pass. For me, that pass was gone. I don't think he was going to get there.
It's risky though from Mudau.
Yes.
Kaizer Chiefs having come into this match on the back of a little bit of a slump. Credit to them for getting that opening goal against Mamelodi Sundowns, who had kept 6 clean sheets in their last 7 games in all competitions. Very, very hard to break down. Also 3 in succession in the Betway Premiership. Just the second time this season. There have been patches where they've conceded with quite some frequency. If you look prior to their last 6 clean sheets, it came over the course of 7 matches. The previous 6 came over the course of 18. As Gaston Serino comes away with it here. Vilakazi trying to provide an option. Tashreeq Matthews slides across. Vilakazi keeps going. Oh, and the selfish option is what he chooses.
He wanted to outfox an old fox.
Needlessly gives away the free kick here, giving him Simango with a clear shove on Shalulile. Good news from a Kaizer Chiefs perspective is that Lamont Golden Arrows have equalised against Amazulu, so even if things stay as they are here, Chiefs will still be a good 5 points ahead of Amazulu.
Don't say that too early.
Sure.
They need two here, Kaizer Chiefs. I'm not sure why they took 1. That stretches the goalkeeper a bit. That near post.
Santos bends it. Really got plenty of bend, but not quite enough to bring it back in on goal. In the meantime, here come Kaizer Chiefs. And Brad Cross has given Serino a bit too much to do there. Forward by Williams. Simango winning the battle against Shalulile this time and doing it legally. Mukwena gliding away from Tetwa. Paul Mukwena is urging his teammates to get upfield.
He just needs many bodies, many hero sheds there. Second ball possibilities, and you just never know. It's that time of the game. On that line.
Mukwena's ball in. Oh, what a save from Brandon Peterson. That is sensational goalkeeping.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. That is a class act from Brendan. I mean, 0 reaction time that he had there to be able to pull that one. It's not like it was straight to him, to the side, and he gets a good palm of his hand to put it up. Oh man, oh man. That's great goalkeeping. No wonder Chiefs are where they are. He's the sole reason they've fought this well this season. I'm sorry to just single him out of the lot, but listen, if we're to look back at the saves that he made, I'm sure you'll agree with me. You are the man with the numbers. I challenge you.
Well, Reyners rose with giving him Simango, and still not certain who got the touch on that to take it towards goal. Brandon Peterson made a superb stop. Was looking for his 17th clean sheet in all competitions prior to being beaten by Brian Leon, as tempers really start to flare here inside the 18-yard area of Kaizer Chiefs, with Damane tangling with some of his opponents. He has a case.
This is what happens.
Those are the heavyweights. In from Aquino. Reyners. Knocked out of play by Mtetwa. Santos looking for Shalolina, and it's a really crucial touch by giving him Simango.
6 minutes of additional time. He's up.
Aquino's ball not yet cleared, and the call going in favour of Kaizer Chiefs here. The additional time has already elapsed. They are waiting on the whistle of Lukolo Bari. Both Chiefs and Pirates fans alike. Yet another twist in this fascinating Betway Premiership title race. Mamelodi Sundowns, having played a game more than Orlando Pirates, are 3 points clear, but the goal difference favours the Buccaneers, and the door is now well and truly open for them. The mandate for the Brazilians ahead of this game was win your remaining 3, win the title. The pendulum has swung.